Hello, Matt here, and today we're going to do another market analysis video. Now, in the last video, we did talk about a lot of inflows coming into like the Bitcoin and Ethereum ETFs. We talked about global liquidity and a little more so the video prior. So I don't really need to get into that, but I want to talk about a couple things that I feel are interesting. So I put the total crypto market cap on log, which in Thinkorswim, you just go down here and tap on L for log chart if you wanted to do that. And I came up with this pattern. Price has really been on this bottom trend line, and it's really starting to show here, which does coincide with my theory in the last video that, we were going to get that pullback and then have another move up, and then that should end Bitcoin dominance. I think that's very interesting. It's not a chart I really look at a lot, but if I was going to analyze it, this is how I would do it. Looking for one more move up here in the crypto total market cap. And then we jump over here. Okay, this is what I'm looking for now. So now we jump over here, and what do we get? Let me kind of zoom in a little bit. And this is working out in kind of like almost like a channel. So let me draw that a little chaotically. And this is kind of where we're at here. Since I would say June, maybe mid-June, really it's been in this channel. Bitcoin dominance chart. Last chart was total market cap. Bitcoin dominance chart is definitely in a channel. And I think that's why the total market cap is how it is. You're going to get a move up, move back down, and then it's going to start to take off is what I'm thinking. And looking at this, I do feel that it's going to chop around, probably come down a little and then jump back up. And then this will start to move back, and then it'll start to discombobulate from the total market cap is what I'm thinking. So, and taking those two charts into account, that's where my head's at right now. I think it's very, very interesting. So that's kind of how I'm viewing that. Let's jump into Bitcoin real quick. And this is our Bitcoin. If we draw back, this was our, the 2016, 17, 18 rally. Had a nice little pullback here. And then it started to take off from there. So you can see the price doesn't really look like a big change here, but this is 5,000, 4,000, 3,000, and this was 58, 60,000. And then it had a little pullback, and now it's starting to work in, 5 waves to the upside is kind of how I'm seeing it. Very, very interesting. Nice action. These are all weekly charts. I do that for a reason, so you can kind of like jump out and like look at everything and see what you're seeing. Let's jump down to an hourly real quick, and let me zoom out. And right now this is Bitcoin. This is Bitcoin. So support I'm watching 85.5 down to 82. That's kind of what I've been watching for support. Over here, it did try to front run it a little bit, pop back up. Now it's starting to come back down. It'll be very interesting to see if it gets down to that support now. Reason for these levels, I took out the lines that I was using just to make it a cleaner chart, especially on the weekly. If you have shorter term time frame lines, it really makes that weekly chart look ugly. So that's why I took that out. So that's why this box is here. It's not just something random that I drew. But anyway, that's what I'm looking for. I'm looking for support down here for Bitcoin. I think that looks very, very interesting. Let me jump out here to the S&P. And we're watching a lot of weakness come down here. Price started breaking down and then it gapped down, and now it's starting to try to find support. Right now the S&P futures are up a little bit. Let's see, where are they at? Well, they're basically right in line, down 0.75 or 3 ticks at the moment. Now down 2 ticks. So definitely trying to find a little support here. I would think that the market would probably gap up a little bit or flat is my expectation. But it's very, very interesting seeing it come down like it is. Is it going to come down and close this gap? I know that's what a lot of people were looking at. A lot of people were looking at it to come down and close this gap. And in the financial markets, there's not this, oh, this trade is so good, it has like limited risk. In the futures market, that's not really a thing. So I'm seeing a lot of people trying to pile on the short. So it makes sense that this gap doesn't close right now, that there's a little bit of a short squeeze and this gap closes. That's kind of what I'm thinking. Now, I don't trade on ideas like that. I trade on actual setups. So when the setup shows up, I'll take it. But if I had to come up with a theory right now, that's kind of what I would think. A lot of people were shorting. A lot of people were getting short. A lot of people were seeing things that don't really look that good. The US dollar is moving up. That's very interesting. But why is that happening? I'm going to get into that. So that's kind of what I would think. It's going to be very interesting. Is price going to be able to get over 58.78, 58.88? Can price get over those two? And then can it push over 5,900? Those are going to be levels that I'm going to be watching. If it does break 58.54, 58.53, I don't know. I would start to look more at this gap being able to close. There's a lot of weakness in here, and it would make sense to have a little short squeeze, but I don't know if that's going to happen. It could come down and close this gap, and then it gets even more interesting. So that's what I am watching for there. I do want to jump into the US dollar, and what I'm seeing is you have a lot of global economies, Europe, including like Germany and places like that. Even China is having a hard time. So you have all of this liquidity, which I have shown in prior videos. You have all this liquidity, and it needs somewhere to go. Cash isn't just going to sit there. Cash wants to go where it can grow, and I've said that a lot. Because cash wants to grow, it wants to go to something that's stable, something that is growing, something that will provide a yield. And that has become the US dollar, because the US economy, we had presidential elections. President Trump is going to be his second term in president, which is pretty cool. People see that as he's going to make a stronger economy. And because there is a stronger economy, it makes the US dollar stronger. And that's what people are flocking to right now. They're flocking to the US dollar. I do want to talk about bonds a little bit too, because that kind of coincides with what I'm saying. But people are flocking to the US dollar. And if we look at it, let's look at a daily chart. And this is kind of what we're seeing is since the 30th of September, it's been moving up. But ever since election night, like this is a crazy candle right here. This is after the election. And I think it was maybe right after 1:30 or 2 a.m. is when Donald Trump was kind of confirmed. But there were signs prior to that there was a very, very good chance that he would win. And that means a stronger economy. And I think that means a stronger dollar. So people are starting to pile into that trade. And it's going to be interesting going forward. Is that a bad sign, or is it just something that happens? because sometimes risk on and risk off assets trade together, sometimes they don't. So just saying the US dollar is going up, so the stock market's going to drop, that's not 100% correlation. There's no such thing as 100% correlation. Maybe I could die or I could live, and those are very different things. But this will be very, very interesting. Does it find resistance up here, or does it not? That's one thing that I'm definitely paying attention to. Now let me jump out here to the TLT, because this is also very interesting. And you can see since September, it has been dropping, which if the bond is dropping, it means the yield is going higher. And let's go find November right here. Okay, so this was November 5th. This was the 6th, so you had a nice move down in bonds. It's moved up, and now it has moved back down. This is a daily chart that I'm watching. You can see the 1D daily. So do bonds find support here? That makes sense because the dollar is at resistance. That would be very interesting if that actually did occur. But it's going to be something to pay attention to. If bond yields are going up, we have inflation, which is a thing, and that's one thing that I've been showing: the stock market in gold, stock market in Bitcoin versus the stock market in the US dollar. Inflation is rotting rotting away the US dollar. So, and that's definitely something to pay attention to. And that's what makes cryptocurrency such a good vehicle to put your money in. If we go to the VIX here, you're starting to get a little bit of fear in the market. Not a lot, but a little bit. Right here was November 5th, and this was November 6th. That's very interesting. A lot of uncertainty. We don't know who's going to be president. We don't know what's going to happen. Big uncertain event. And the uncertainty came into the market. Now people were starting to get a little fearful. Usually as long as it's under 20, it is what it is. It's just there, but just showing a little bit there. And I think those are concerns over, bond yields and the US dollar. At least that's how I would take it. So very, very interesting there. With all of that, what am I looking for? I talked about the SPX. That's kind of what I'm looking for in the S&P. The Bitcoin, looking for a little bit of a pullback, but I do think it goes higher after it hits that level. In the private trading group, I did want to talk about a couple things that we did take in the group. One of them being OM. I don't know what chart I was looking at. Evidently not this one. But I talked about it right here. It was right in here, and now it's just taking off. That's just wild. A lot of money to be made there. A lot of money to be made in other calls. We've been making some decent money in the private trading group, so a lot of fun there. I just wanted to highlight that. So anyway, that is the video. Hopefully you did enjoy it. If you got anything out of it, leave a comment down below. I'd love to hear your thoughts. With that, have a fantastic rest of your day. I'll see you around the markets. Take care.